What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd, and I'm back with some more Age Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is Magic. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set. His name is I Bring Life. This is Shelty's Smurf nickname. If you don't know who Shelty is, he is a British man who once applied for Ninja Warrior, I believe, and said something about being a snake. I can't remember the exact thing. If you haven't seen the video, I definitely recommend attempting to find it. I might even link it in the description box if somebody reminds me to. And obviously, we have Magic, who he needs no introduction. Abusing the top tier God Thor in this game, of course. The map is Blue Lagoon. A very good map for Set, actually, because all of the hunt is nice and forward, which means you get a lot of value out of converting animals here. And it looks like Shelty just missed that rhino over there, which would have been vitally important. The hunt though that you want to find with this priest on a Blue Lagoon are the giraffe or the zebra, because they take less time to convert. I believe, if I check this out quickly, the conversion time for the zebra is 30 seconds compared to an elephant, which is 70 seconds, or a rhino, which is also 70 seconds. So this giraffe finishes a little bit too early. So if you're going to be going for a fast advance time, which is sort of looking like Shelty's going for here, he's already got the 3 villagers on gold and puts everything else on the food. You do have to convert zebra and send them in here, and you get up at 4 minutes. Really, really fast and difficult to deal with build for Set. You can go with you can follow it up with the fast second town center, or with a shifting sands with the pharaoh and the priest, and getting an early hands of the pharaoh, so you can get extra damage done, force out watchtowers and the like. But without converting this means that the villagers are going to have to move, which they are doing. They're going to be moving over to the gazelle and then eating the elephant, but that is going to slow down Shelty's advance time. So we're going to have to expect that this is not going to be a 4-minute advance time from Shelty. It's probably going to be closer to 4:30, if not later, because he has to leave his base, which is really, really good for Magic, because the later the Set advances, the later they get the economy going. So that's the thing. So Magic's already got quite a bit of gold in the bank, and he's actually thrown a dwarf over onto wood, which is something that I've been recommending that Thor players do with the no gold mine, or the no dwarven gold mine build order. So this dwarf will eventually come over to gold, but you really just don't need that much gold early, whereas the extra wood means you can get out longhouses, get out pickaxe, get out husbandry, all of that other stuff earlier, and your economy is just going a little bit faster. So it's really nice to see that Magic's taken that little adaptation there. Yes, it takes an extra second or so for the dwarf to get out, but you don't actually gather slower on the savannah tree, so you're really only missing out on a little bit of a very, very minuscule amount of resource by putting the dwarf on there because of the extra second. So it's like 1 wood or something for it. And you're going to net that back anyways when the gatherer comes back. So just about to advance. Pretty good timing. Probably could have cut that last dwarf and advanced here. And he's actually leaving the dwarf over here on the wood. So one thing you do have to be careful about is if you do get hand axe, the dwarf starts being a slight little bit inefficient. So you have to play around that if you're doing this kind of build here. But that's totally fine. Magic's sitting on this location. We'll see. Has Shelty advanced yet? And he hasn't advanced yet. This is exactly what I was talking about. This build that Shelty has done here, because he didn't go for the zebra at the front of the base, means he's going to be advancing really, really late. It's going to be a 5-minute advance time for Shelty, which means he's basically got no chance to get any sort of shifting sands early play, because technically speaking, Magic should probably have out 2 or 3 Hersa, which is more than enough to defend against the priest and the Wadget and everything else. Plus, with Pig Sticker, the animals will get 1 hit, and it will be a really difficult time for Shelty to make that work. So what I do expect from Shelty here is to get this town center here. And to like double down on everything I'm saying so far, the reason why you want to find these zebra at all costs and not eat this elephant is because this elephant is on this town center, and that's vitally important to have when you're going for these defensive set strategies. Potentially, Shelty may go for a classical fight here, which advancing late isn't the worst. And he's going for the town center. I was going to say it isn't the worst idea to go for a classical fight against Thor, simply just to push him off hunt. And try and do that, because all of the hunt is forward, and you do have a shifting sand, so you can get quite a bit of value out of that one there. But here's the town center coming up for Shelty, and we see already the Valkyrie is searching for something. Shelty does have 3 gazelle here. He also has a rhinoceros he can eat. Eating the berries is probably not the best of ideas at this point. Just eat the gazelle first. We do see that the Valkyrie is here. It's going to be pushed back by the Pharaoh plus the Wadjet as well. There's still a little bit of food left in this elephant. We do also see a barracks coming down here. It's probably a little bit of an overcommit against Thor. Thor players tend to not be able to do too much damage to the set who has got safe hunt essentially. The only issue is that we'd have all of this hunt in the middle of the map that Shelty's not going to be able to eat, and it's actually quite a low hunt. Blue Lagoon actually, it's looking like there's like 1 baboon each. There's only 2 or 1.5 packs of zebra with a 3 zebra here. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll see. Shelty going to be retreating here away from Magic's raiding cavalry. We just see double barracks here from Shelty. This is pretty wild. This laborer can get caught out here. We'll see if he can keep that one alive. We just see the raiding cavalry going to be moving around the bottom side here. Shelty does have quite a few pigs, and actually moving these pigs over to this town center wouldn't be a bad idea either. Does he have husbandry yet? No husbandry, no pickaxe. He needs to invest in those and have thrown up an armory here as well, whereas Magic going for the double longhouse here. This is also another proponent that's come fairly recently by Norse players. It's that going for when you're not going full 115 population raiding cavalry, you just go for the double longhouse, and you're going to be able to get out more upgrades in fact pickaxe and husbandry, and you're also going to be able to get out an early second town center or get an early heroic age out. And I do reckon the early heroic age against set here is the way to go, getting the Skadi in order to counter Nephthys and all the other stuff. We do see 1 villager has been picked off but traded for 1 raiding cavalry there. It's not a bad trade for Shelty, especially because he's 2 town centers here. You see almost a second village picked. A second villager has gone down. However, the Valkyrie looks like it is just about to go down with 3 HP left. So good picks there by Magic, but he almost lost 2 units there for it. So 2 villager kills, 1 raiding cavalry kill. And it's going okay for Shelty at this point. Does he have his... he does have husbandry now. He still hasn't invested in pickaxe. Totally fine. He's going up very heavily onto wood now, which doesn't make a lot of sense at this point unless he's trying to get out Shadoof and plow. Instead, what I'd recommend is trying to split up the pigs so that onto both the town centers, so you get to an early heroic age and attempt to do something. We do see that Magic is going incredibly aggressive here. This is pretty crazy, actually. So Magic is going to be trying to go for a gold staff here, it looks like. It's pretty wild. I'm not sure how well this can work unless Magic hits some sort of timing going to... Oh, he's going Bragi. This is insane. This strategy from Magic is going to be really difficult to defend against because the Flaming Weapons essentially guarantees 1-1 fight here. That we do see a shifting sands onto the villagers though. That's a really big play from Shelty just as the heroic age pops there. However, all of the villagers do manage to get away from that. The spearmen trying to come around and get the pick off here. This is huge. We see a forest fire here from Magic as he's trying to get around these spearmen. But this is absolutely devastating for Magic. This pick here for Shelty is gigantic. However, it's looking like the villagers will manage to get away for the most part, but that was still two or three villager. It looks like 3 villager pickoffs there for that one. We do see the army of Magic coming in here. Shelty has to turn and fight here. He's got to micro those slingers onto the throwing axeman. Get the Wadget onto the throwing axeman as well. We do see some nice micro from Magic here, hitting the Wadget there in order to pick that one off. And the rest of these Magic Thor units should be able to clean up everything else. And Shelty's going to be retreating away now. The civilian units of Magic returning to this elephant. And that looks like Magic has got some huge amount of value there, catching out Shelty, who maybe overstayed there just a little bit. We see the Battle Ball managing to get some villager pickoffs here. Shelty's got next to no gold left in this gold mine, only 500 left. He's going through Nephthys though, so he does have ancestors in order to attempt to secure this. If there's not enough Hersa by Magic here, maybe an issue. If Magic can get out, say 5 Hersa, then he will be able to fight the ancestors with flaming weapons and be in a decent position here. Shelty is amassing priests now, which is the correct response to Bragi, but you have to not throw away these priests. A little bit of a premature flaming weapons there by Magic. He looks like he wants to go after this town center. He's really got not that many units here. He's only on 81 population. This is really not what I expected from Magic, and meanwhile, Shelty can probably make a break for it up to this side of the map, throw a Migdal down and grab this bottom gold mine if he so chooses. But Magic does have the double battle balls here. That's going to be plenty enough to take this down. But Ancestors going to be cast defensively and immediately. However, there's so many slingers here. Probably didn't even need to cast the Ancestors at that point. The slingers could pick off all of those throwing axemen, and the town center would have lived very, very easily. Meanwhile, where are the villagers going? They're moving forward here. Surely you come down to this gold mine. Does Shelty know about it? Shelty does not know about this gold mine here. The scouting not good enough, but he will make his way up. We'll see if he gets spotted here by Magic, who has got no idea he's there. Bunch of villagers down on this location here, chopping down the wood for Magic, being a little bit cheeky there. Meanwhile, Magic can simply just retreat back here. Yes, he can fight this because he has the battle ball. If they tank here, it should be fine. But we will see. Meanwhile, the villagers have made their way over to this mining camp, which is actually a twofold good mining camp. So one is, well, it's away from where the enemy army is by a long shot. But 2, Magic knows that this gold mine's here, so he's not going to expect there to be villagers here. So if he does run in and check this gold mine, he's probably going to run through here, over this cliff, and hit it here, and miss this gold mine here. So that could be a little bit of an issue for Magic trying to finish this game off here, but Shelty is in a really good position here. He hasn't invested in funeral rites yet. He's throwing away more priests. You can't be doing this, Shelty. These priests are the reason why you don't mass myth units against Set and Isis. You get funeral rites, you pick them off really, really fast. You need like 3 or 4 priests, and then no amount of myth units, bar Loki myth units, really do anything in the heroic age against Set and Isis. But Shelty just keeps throwing away his priests and giving Magic such an opportunity here. The question for Magic is, do you go for the immediate second town center here after all of this damage has been done? Or do you go for a really fast mythic age? So what you can do here, you don't have to have crazy amounts of villagers on food. You just utilize this dwarven gold mine, which just looks like it's just about to be expired, or just send all your dwarves over onto gold, and you buy your way to the mythic age and go for a 1 town center sort of Ragnarok and go for a gold starve. Pretty risky, so I do like the safer play going for the second town center, go for maybe the 3rd town center as well. There's no real risk of being run over by the Set. There is a risk of a 2 town center Horus timing push by the Set player, and it is a really relevant risk here, but it is looking like Shelty is sort of giving away that he wants to get this town center anyways. And obviously Magic sees that as it's going up, so he should probably just grab the third town center, be totally fine to do so, and just get a really strong economy, keep trying to harass with the raiding cavalry and everything else, and he'll be in a decent spot here. We do see that Shelty is fighting this one now. He does have Hands of the Pharaoh, but still no funeral rites, so these Battle Boar are going to be tanking damage for a very long time, and then the Throwing Axemen can snipe these priests, and then the Battle Boar just do so much damage because there's 3 of them right now. That positioning from Shelty was really, really bad here. You need to have those priests at the back of your army away from the low range medium Throwing Axemen here. And meanwhile, looking like Magic can just decimate the Egyptian army of Shelty there. And he's also got these siege weapons in the Battle Boar that can keep pushing in here. This isn't even defender's advantage for Shelty because of the forward buildings here from Magic. And Magic's now got medium upgrades for everything. How's the armor? He's got copper weapons here. Looks like the Scorpion Man will probably be able to retreat, or maybe be able to retreat on 18 HP and get re-healed here, so that's going to be really good. But Magic's out for blood now. He's going to be going after this Migdol stronghold. At least he should be after this Migdol stronghold. Tear that one down. And looking at the population right now, we've got 118 to 130. Actually, Shelty's somehow got a lot of population here, but I'm not sure what it's actually all in. He's finally moving over with these units. Does he have funeral rites yet? He does not have funeral rites yet, and he's actually got no favor in the bank either, because he's throwing down more Migdol strongholds. He built the Scorpion Man as well, which, while is a really strong unit against Thor, against the Battle Boar, it really doesn't seem that strong at all. What I would actually really have loved here from Magic was if he'd thrown down a hill fort and started making Huskal here. Oh, but I love this move here from Magic, splitting the Battle Boar away from the Priest and the Pharaoh here, going after the Migdol stronghold. It's going to be tearing this down. This army movement from Magic is absolutely impeccable in this game. Meanwhile, Shelty not able to react to it. He's probably going to be losing this Migdol stronghold. He's got a lot of villagers repairing it. It's looking like it's kind of going down, but not going down that fast. But the villagers do manage to take down one Battle Boar. That's going to slow down this Migdol from going down just a little bit, but it does look like the Migdol stronghold does fall there. Magic should be looking to just move over here and just push off this gold mine with the rest of his units as well. He's still pumping villagers and in a really, really good spot in this game. The villagers all turning around. Look at the damage. This is like 3 hitting the villagers here, and they're all really low HP as well, as he just completely destroys them. And also the special ability with all that splash damage coming down, and these villagers just fall like flies here, as Shelty is just almost just admitting defeat at this point, as he's just losing so many villagers. And there's still Battle Boar left. There is a 5 HP Battle Boar here that does fall, but now Magic, he can just do whatever he wants here. He can grab this town center, he can go Mythic Age, he can push over here if he wants, he can push over here. We do see a hill fort trying to come up. Shelty does notice it here, and it's going to get denied, so that's a nice win for Shelty, but it's a very small one, to be sure here. The Migdol, or the hill fort, does go down, and now there's a bunch of Throwing Axemen here ready to push Shelty back. We see another hill fort coming up, and now we've got the Huskal. And once the Huskal come out, it basically means you need to make Axemen in order to pick them off, because they have 50% base pierce armor, which is absolutely huge. Meanwhile, the Spearmen all falling here. The Priest falling as well. Still trying to get those Priests onto the Battle Boar, but Shelty Magic just picks them off so quickly, and Shelty just can't get a good army concave. But we do see that the Migdol stronghold is trying to get back up here for Shelty. We do see some raids coming in onto this location, potential back build coming up here. Meanwhile, we do see a market is up for Shelty somewhere. He can trade for stuff. He's got a lot of wood in the bank. In fact, his economy isn't actually as bad as you might think, having had lost all of those units. Meanwhile, the Battle Ball is now ready to just tear down this Migdol stronghold. Villagers getting pulled off the gold mine, coming onto the Migdol stronghold, but it's too little, too late, as this Migdol goes down as well. And Shelty is just barracks units right now as he decides in the 18th minute to tap out. GG, well played by Magic, showing off the Baragi style here against Set. Really, really, really nice play by Magic. I loved the hold of the Dwarven Gold Mine in order to give yourself that extra boost in resources when you hit the heroic edge. What normally happens when you go for these semi-fast heroics with Thor is that as soon as you hit the mythic age, and as soon as you need all that gold income, you're moving to a second gold mine, and you just don't get it straight away. So you get such an influx of resources straight away when you cast that Dwarven Gold Mine that you otherwise wouldn't have had. On top of that, just sniping priest left, right, and center from Shelty was so key here. And the mistakes that Shelty made here can be learned from, and I think it's a really good teaching experience here, in that you need to work out what your plan is in advance as soon as you spawn into the map. So these top players need to know that this Blue Lagoon map does have this spawn of 2 giraffes. So what do you do when you have 2 giraffe as set? How do you get 4 minutes advance time? How do you get that second town center up incredibly fast? The answer is there is always hunt in front of your base on Blue Lagoon, either here or here. So you send your priest over one way, you send your hyena over the other way, you try and find your giraffe or your zebra that are forward, you convert those, you send them back to your granary, and you eat them. You advance with 4 minutes. You say, I love life because now my elephant that was over here is right next to my town center. You can eat that completely, and you can play really, really safe, really, really boomy, and then you're going to be in a really good spot to fight against this this sort of flaming weapons all-in sort of play that Magic did. The other thing that was vitally important, which Shelty missed here, was simply funeral rites. This upgrade, 400% Pharaoh and Priest damage versus Myth units, is the best upgrade that you can get in the Heroic Age against, obviously against Myth units, but it's the best upgrade for any unit possibly in the game. 400% bonus against Myth units. Like, there's nothing else that has that kind of bonus damage. And there's no upgrades for the battle boars, so they just basically become 400% weaker or something. And you can see that they do have a fairly high PS armor to begin with, so you really need that upgrade. Anyways, GG, well played by Magic. There's a couple more games to go here. We'll move into them very shortly. If you are enjoying these games, please consider hitting the follow button on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.